That's why she became the older person. All right. Let me say that we are extremely happy that all of you, and one of the things that you may not know is that in ancient Egypt, every year, the entire people were coming together, and that's where the idea of you convoke and then you invoke. In ancient Egypt, the idea of invocation was that you gave life to the gods. Without your invocation, there would be no gods. Think about that. So with that, we're going to have an amazing voice that I am so proud of. Cassandra Figueroa, lead us in the national anthem. Queremos que todos ustedes se pongan de pie porque vamos a cantar nuestro himno nacional, el original de Lola Rodríguez de Tio. Cassandra.
Ooh, 50 years, y'all. It's an honor to be here. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. Despierta, borinqueño que han dado la señal. Despierta de ese sueño, que es hora de luchar. A ese llamar patriótico, no al de tu corazón. Ven, no será simpático el ruido del cañón. Nosotros queremos la libertad. Nuestro machete nos la darán. Vámonos, boriqueños, vámonos ya, que nos espera ansiosa la libertad. La libertad, la libertad, la libertad, la libertad. ¡Que viva Puerto Rico libre!
Para que sepan que esta jovencita se graduó de la escuela Pedro Albizu Campos. Nació y criada en Chicago. Su primera visita a Puerto Rico fue cuando visitamos a nuestros hermanos en ese hermoso pueblo de Comerío. Y Ocean. Y ahí, frente a miles de personas, ella nos invocó frente al gran Esta jovencita nunca había estado en Puerto Rico. Ese fue su primer viaje. Así es que imagínense el trabajo que hemos logrado. So, let me welcome you all to this amazing moment. When we think, that's a very long time. But when we think about the cultural center and what we have been able to achieve, you have to place us in the context of some really, really difficult times. The life of the cultural center very early. Through trials and tribulations. And throughout all of this, we face every moment with a sense of serenity because we knew exactly where we were going and what we needed to do. So, 50 years ago, a group of us came together and decided. A year before that, we had created the Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos High School, which for many years was the Rafael Cancel Miranda School. And then when they came out in 1979, we built a campaign from Chicago that led to their freedom. And if anyone wants to doubt that, we have the testimony of Michael Deutsch. Where's Michael? Right over there. So our lawyer can attest to the fact that Rafael Cancel Miranda, Lolita Lebrón, Oscar Collazo, and Irving Flores, and a year before that, Andres Figueroa Cordero, decided, when everybody in Puerto Rico was not very happy about this, that the first place they would come when they were free was to Chicago, because they knew where it started. And so I think it's important from that moment to 50 years later. We started with a small school. It started in a period that obviously had been defined in 1966 by what is known as the Division Street riots, but should be known as the Puerto Rican Rebellion. By the way, the most intensive, extensive Puerto Rican rebellion in the United States. No other city can claim this. Okay? And there were two of them. All right? So, I just want to make sure that as obviously all of you look at all these wonderful moments of our history, you're also able to make some connections. We were founded on three principles: the principle of self-determination, the principle of self-actualization, and the principle of self-reliance, which are deeply rooted in the practice of the Maroon societies in Puerto Rico, and that literally have defined our work for 50 years. All right? Oscar Lopez, my brother here, and Alejandrina Torres were both tortured in prison. Okay? We can talk about what Russia is doing to the Ukrainians. Let's talk about what they did to our political prisoners. Let's talk about the fact that we went through 30 years of continuous grand jury repression, and that some of us went to prison. Let's talk about the FBI COINTELPRO program to insert themselves in our midst and paid agents to destroy our work. Let's go through the suffering and the trauma of the children that were the children of the political prisoners. And we could talk about so many trials and tribulations, but there was something that guided us, that made us unstoppable. And we can claim that legacy today by being able to say that what you saw out there is only really like about half of the programs that the Puerto Rican Cultural Center has. We built our programs obviously within the context of non-for-profits, but we were not informed by the ideology of non-for-profits. We were informed by an idea that's deeply rooted in our, which are the Maroon societies. And so what you will find in the Cultural Center is an amazing practice of developing political leadership. Why? Because we're highly decentralized. And every program has to be and engage in some level of self-actualization. And so we can create an amazing group of leaders. Some of you who are sitting in our midst. Today, I am so happy to say that my first student at Tule High School was Ricardo Jimenez, the political prisoners. And I want to see, there are a few of my current students from UIC. Can you guys stand up? Come on. Let's see. There were several of you. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Some of them disappear, I think. But the fact is that for 52 years, I've been teaching. And for me, this is the legacy of that teaching. Political organizing, community organizing. I don't care what kind of social justice organizing, we must always be guided by incredible sense of ethics. And Doña Consuelo Corredel taught us that by coining a phrase in a very famous poem in which she creates a counter narrative to the narrative of live and let live, to a narrative that has guided our work of live and help to live. So that is how we frame our work. I am obviously so happy that so many of you could join us. I am so happy that we could be celebrating with our ex-political prisoners here. I am so happy that we could claim 4 generations of political prisoners that we have helped to free. But we could not have done this without an amazing group of people. Many of them are sitting in the front here who are honored guests today. Because without them, they are the pillars of this work. And I think what you will see now, what you saw today, what you will see this weekend, what you see 365 days out of the year, are people that are committed to making sure that they are agents of change and that they're not driven by the reward of money or by the reward of capital. They're driven profoundly by their humanity. So it gives me an amazing honor to introduce our 2 MCs. And we chose them with a purpose. The first is Jesse Fuentes. Jesse Fuentes builds on an incredible legacy. And for those of you who know politics, you should know that having, in Chicago and in many places, wards are often passed from father to son or father to daughter. Well, in our community, for 40 years, beginning with the leadership of Luis Gutierrez, by creating the 26th ward into a Puerto Rican ward in Chicago, carried out later on by Billy Ocasio, who substituted him, then by Roberto Maldonado, and 40 years, almost to the day, that seat is held by a Puerto Rican. And let me tell you, I am in total solidarity with everybody, but I'm Puerto Rican first. And that's what makes us the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. And I don't make any apologies about that. So, Jesse Fuentes builds on a legacy of 4 decades of leadership that grew within our ranks, that our work helped to produce, but there's nowhere else in the United States where you could claim that 40 years of elected officials, all who have identified as Puerto Rican independentistas. Nowhere. I don't think in Puerto Rico you have held a mayoral for 40 years in the independence movement. Well, we have. All right? So, that's what we have built on. And so, obviously, we are joined today by Jesse Fuentes, our new older person of the 26th ward. And then it gives me an amazing honor and an amazing and a deep sense of humility to have with us this amazing Puerto Rican Juan Gonzalez. A great author, a great journalist, but also an amazing political leader. He was one of the founders of the Young Lords in New York. And this year, we celebrate the creation of the Puerto Rican Studies program, which was led in many ways through the efforts of what Juan Gonzalez did and other young Puerto Ricans did in New York to ensure a center of Puerto Rican studies to do research on Puerto Rican history. So I am so happy, so pleased, so honored to have both of them here. Welcome. Give them a warm welcome.
How are we doing? Is Aguadilla in the house?
Good evening to everyone. The 50th anniversary of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center is an amazing historical event, and I am deeply honored to be here with Jesse and Jose and all the other people who have helped to build this amazing organization. And we're going to have a terrific night. I've been asked to just say a couple of words because I'm a newcomer, as many of you know, to Chicago, not a newcomer to the Puerto Rican community. I think I have been blessed to have been able to visit virtually every Puerto Rican community in the United States over the last 60 years, with the exception of Alaska. I've never gotten up to see the Puerto Ricans in Alaska. But, you know, I'm often asked by many non-Puerto Ricans, why are Puerto Ricans so enamored of cultural expression, of being Boricuas, whether through poetry or fiction or art or music or dance or theater or performance or food or sports? The list of those Puerto Ricans with outstanding artistic talent is almost defies comprehension. I've always believed the reason is directly bound up with our more than 500 years of existence as a conquered people, with our evolution over centuries into a nation that, because of colonialism, remains invisible to others, especially to the people of the United States, where so many of us, for better or worse, have spent so much of our time. It was the great psychiatrist, philosopher, and revolutionary, Frantz Fanon, the great thinker who delved into the psychology of colonialism and how it shapes both the oppressor and the oppressed, who said decades ago, and I'm quoting Fanon, "Colonialism is not satisfied merely with holding a people in its grip and emptying the native's brain of all form and content. By a kind of perverted logic, it turns to the past of the oppressed peoples and distorts, disfigures, and destroys it. The history, language, and culture of any people, their songs, their writings, their narratives, their beliefs and customs, handed down from generation to generation, define more precisely who they are than even the physical land from which they come. It is through the preservation of that culture and history that the Puerto Rican nation has persevered for so long. And no group of Puerto Ricans anywhere on earth understand that better than the Puerto Rican community of Humboldt Park right here in Chicago. The Puerto Rican Cultural Center, the Paseo Boricua, the National Puerto Rican Cultural Museum, and all the other institutions that this neighborhood has built represent perhaps the most important strip of land for the Puerto Rican diaspora in the entire United States. Here in one place, affirmation, resistance, pride, and love of art have persisted for decades, carved a small base area in a hostile environment. And for that, every one of you should be proud, and I'm just proud to be able to celebrate these 50 years with you.
Give it up for Juan Gonzalez. It's extremely difficult to go across the Puerto Rican diaspora and to find a community, a Puerto Rican community, that has resisted gentrification, racism, infiltration by the FBI, and the dismantling of organizations such as the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. This is a community that has said Humboldt Park no se vende. A community that has resurrected the largest Puerto Rican steel flags in the world. A Puerto Rican that holds 2 statues of Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos. And a Puerto Rican community that has a national Puerto Rican museum. A community that continues to say presente. But more importantly, that 50 years means that we have another day to continue to be in the struggle. Because the colonial experience of Puerto Ricans is visible everywhere we turn. We've seen that after Hurricane Maria. when the Puerto Rican Cultural Center and the Puerto Rican Agenda were the first two institutions to land a plane in Puerto Rico to tell our patria that the diaspora is presente. This is the same community that brought all of our Puerto Rican political prisoners home, with Oscar being the last one. It's the same community that produced a play called Crime Against Humanity that told the very story of the Puerto Rican political prisoners and toured it around the entire country, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Venezuela. We are a community that is unapologetic about our fight for self-determination and our fight for the independence of Puerto Rico. 50 years is a long time to be in a struggle. But it would not have been without a lot of people who sacrificed their families, who sacrificed their lives to build an institution that has the very mission, the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. To become security officers when Elvira Arellano took sanctuary at Arabelto Church, right here on Division Street. To have educators who taught at Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos when the FBI raided the school and destroyed everything, and who chose to come back and continue to educate young people like me. To build programs that are not about this nonprofit machine of taking money, but rather to really be able to center the margins and serve the people who are constantly left behind and left out. We will continue to do the work to build affordable housing in a community that's rapidly being gentrified, because that is a system that seeks to destroy us. To continue to challenge educational systems so that young people like me can go to a school and learn about who they are and where they come from, so that we then can become the agents of change in the community like Humboldt Park. And so I'm extremely honored to MC is not only a great leader, he's also Cupid. How many people are married here today because they met in Jose's class? Raise your hand. Several of us. While people like Jose and people in the movement think that they have only shown us how to love the work, our community, and our patria, you all have also taught us how to love people, and how to love people deeply. And that is what keeps our work moving forward. And so, there are many people to thank here today. And we want to honor folks properly. Come to the stage so that everyone here can acknowledge the work and contribution to the 50 years of the Cultural Center that you put in, and so that you can get the award that the Puerto Rican Cultural Center has brought to you. So Juan, do you want to kick us?
Cultural Center. Malta Antonio Berrios, Michael Hannon, Alejandro Molina, Veronica Ocasio, Dr. Ann Peterson Kemp, Dr. Margaret Power, and Dr. Michael Rodriguez Muñiz.
All right, you all give it up for the Board of Directors of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. All right, they're going to stay here for a quick picture once all the awards get given. Yes. Oh, you're taking a picture. Perfect. All right, he's up there. Look up there. Elias is the one with the flowery shirt right there. All right, thank you. Give it up for the board of directors one more time. All right. I want to direct people's attention to the screen. Matt, if you can cue up what's next, to recognize the Puerto Rican nationalist political prisoners. And you can clap while we recognize them. Lolita Lebrón, Rafael Cancel Miranda, Oscar Collazo, Andrés Figueroa Cordero, Ian Flores Rodríguez.
And now we're going to, oops. And now we're going to go, oops, a few more photos. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the political leaders who have been so instrumental in the work of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. Luis Gutierrez, former congressman. Roberto Maldonado, former alderman. Melissa Mark Viverito, former speaker of the New York City Council. Billy Ocasio, former alderman. Jose Rivera, former city councilman and state representative from New York. Julia Nazario Fuentes, the mayor of Loíza. Josian Santiago, mayor of Comerío. And Carmen Yulín Soto, former mayor of San Juan.
If you all could come up.
Oops.
All right, and now we are going to honor, and I would want all of our Puerto Rican political prisoners to Antonio Corregel, Consuelo Lee Corregel, Edwin Cortés, Jaime Delgado, Kathleen Dasautes, who's no longer, Dora Garcia, Steven Guerra, Ricardo Jiménez, Oscar López Rivera, Alberto Rodríguez, Alicia Rodríguez, José Luis Rodríguez, Félix Rosa, Luis Rosa, Alejandrina Torres, Carlos Alberto Torres, and Carmen Valentín.
It's an honor to have met to meet you. You inspired me.
One more time for our political prisoners. All right. So we want to acknowledge the folks who are the pillars of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. These folks are religious leaders, educators, civic leaders, activists, people who literally sometimes put blood into the work. We are going to call your names, and we ask that you make your way to the stage as we're reading all the names, and then we're going to take a big, beautiful, fantastic group picture when you get down here. I'll take on this first column, and you take on the second.
Well, we may have to assist each other here because my eyesight is not as good as Jesse's. Okay.
All right. So please make your way here. Dr. Laura Ruth Johnson. Dr. Roberto Sanabria. No longer with us, but to be acknowledged, Dr. Steve Whitman. Mildred Amador. Eduardo Arrocho. Maria Besares. Leonie Calderón. Julio Cortés Acevedo. Lisa Isadora Cruz. Lucy Michael Deutsch. No longer with us, Bert Egan. Lisette Fuentes. Also no longer with us, Maria Gallegos. Please come up, Marvin Garcia. Jose Hernandez. Lidia Jimenez. Nancy Kirshen. No longer with us, but to be acknowledged, Ramon Lopez. Please come up, Emma Lozano. Lourdes Morales. Maritza Nazario. Michael Nieves. Reverend Dr. Nozomi Akuta. Hipólito. No longer with us, but to be acknowledged, Mary Power. Melinda Power, please make your way up. Sochi Ramirez. Andrea Rivera.
Where are we here?
To be acknowledged, Jonathan Rivera Lizaldi.
Josefina Rodriguez. Malta Rodriguez. You're going to have to continue, Jesse.
All right. To be acknowledged, no longer with us, Ilma Romero. Let Ilma's spirit live in this room. She was in this building for much of her life, ensuring that Roberto Clemente would live up to his very vision as an educational institution. Please. Delgado, Edith Scripps, America Sorrentini, Jan Sussler.
Yay!
To be acknowledged but not with us, Reverend Jose Torres. Also Mariano del Valle. Sheila Benson, if you're here, please you make your way up. Marixa Vidal, Jack Weiss. Reverend Michael Yasutaki, and our matriarchs. Give it up one more time. No more gossip. Everybody take their seat. Give it up for the pillars of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. All right. Now we are welcoming back our Executive Director, Jose Lopez.
So we got to start our performance. We are asking everyone to please make sure that you turn off your whatever those things are called, the phone that I don't like. We have, so I want to please make sure that if you need to use the bathroom, they're downstairs, but we're going to go through this performance, and we like everyone to stay because it's an amazing performance. And Angel Vazquez is an amazing, legendary figure in Puerto Rican theater and performances. I really want all of us to also, before this program ends, to welcome a series of people from Puerto Rico who have joined us this weekend. There are over 100 people who came from Comerío, from Aguadilla, from Caguas, from Guayama, and Ponce. So we've got an amazing group of guests who are going to join us. So I want to obviously be able to recognize them at the end. So we are going to begin this performance. I'm going to need some help here to move this stuff.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Yeah, we're just pausing. We have technical difficulties. If you can hang tight, just give us a few minutes to get the projection up and going with the sound. Thank you. Performed by Angel Vazquez.
Boricua. You're a Boricua if your sofa is covered with plastic. This is your first call. Boricua. You are a Boricua if you ever got hit with a chancleta. This is your second call. Boricua. You're a Boricua if you ever grew up afraid of el cuco and gentrification. This is your last call. Literally. just in, the governor just declared a New York City shutdown because of the coronavirus. No one is allowed to leave. Not even you.
Hello, New York! It's sunny outside! And today we expect weather. We're still in the pandemic, so remember, do not go outside if you don't have to. We suggest you do some exercises, read, and why not, make some jokes!
We are everything but tired. From a TV to an air fryer. And when with a flower, drug rules paper towels. I have to live in America, but I don't look so American. Everything good in America, if you're Captain America. Eviction notice. Huh. You must leave the premises in 14 days. Leave the premises? Come on. We have to fight against gentrification. Here in the communities, in the United States, and in Puerto Rico, las playas son para el pueblo. ¡Parate! Oh my goodness. Oh, me estoy volviendo loco. I'm going crazy here. You know, I have to find that property title. I mean, they can't do this to these people. Oh no, this is a national tragedy. Se acabó el pitorro. No puede ser. Oh, there's got to be another bottle around here. There's got to be Agua María. It's a medicine. 14% alcohol. This will do. I gotta let it breathe though. It's not breathing. It's not breathing. It's not breathing! Clapping. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Look, there's something I don't understand. How come, if life was so hard for us over here, how come we just didn't get into a plane or a boat and just go back home? I mean, how come un ibanito no se ponía la cama y se regresaba? Because tú vas a hacer that easy, ¿qué tú te crees? Que porque las cucarachas te pasó te sorluman. It was mission impossible. Sometimes it was too hard. Anything began when the Americans went to save us. Yeah. So we thought. General Miles, made us a democratic promise. I promise he didn't keep. So we remained a colony and we had to sell our land. And then another promise came along this time from Hawaii. And they promised us many free things. Travel over there with your family, we will have housing free and medicine and a good job. But the big man from the council went to that camp. He wasn't the same council that I was used to. He was a concentration camp. Hannah! 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 Work! Work! Tirate them, Puerto Rican! Work! Work! Get up and work! Hannah! Hannah! Get out of there, Puerto Rican! Work! 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 Ah! The station police is got to be. Hannah, Hannah, are the screams I hear. The statement on a voice with a quick awful cross. What would become of me? The dogs are all falling after me. Run in the mud, I'm crawling. A farmer at home, I'm a slave in this land. That's what I Lord at home, I'm a slave in this land. I miss el canto del coquí, el abrazo de tu madre, el riachuelo de la montaña, el pan, los gallos de mi vieja, if I'm throwing the endless crying home, if I'm throwing the endless distant home, I'll keep on trying, come what may, to get back home. Have the world away. Hannah, we do not have the means to go back. My wife Leticia died from fever, starvation, sick back. So did my daughter Clarita, who never saw her promised land. We rebelled, but it was uphill. Later, I was forced to go to another island by myself, where I would probably die from tristeza, from sadness, sentimental. My surviving son Miguelito was left by his lonesome. Matilde Martinez, incredible woman, a wonderful girl, and bound for him as the river and all song. You will never forget who you are. I will raise you as my own son. Los compatriotas that managed to survive slavery in Hawaii are the living testimony of our resilience. Today, nearly 40,000 Puerto Ricans live in Hawaii. Amazingly, the food, the culture and the traditions are very strong. Because in Hawaii, despite time and distance, we're still presentes y bonitas. Now listen to me, listen to me. We have gone to this country to different points, to different cities, different times. But we are still the same. Only racism, exclusion. We have to find a permanent solution to our problems. If Puerto Ricans are going to get ahead in life, it has to be through education. We fought against the city's educational system, and some witnesses have been practiced. But the Boricua will never give up. Education all of the section that I'm totally used to we try to find out. At the young and change the world. Like the police, goes to city college. We are extremely careless. You told me we don't want to get out of here until un cementerio de análisis. Trabajar, producir y producir es la vida. What do you do about it? You make the future. You make the future. I make the future. You make the future. The Board of Education is a big monster to fight. And I fought the monster.
Paz e respect. Peace and respect. These are the values that define the life and work of Antonio Antonio.
Antonio Pantoja presenta y Boricua. Primo Casino, it's Casino. Okay, let me know if I can help you. I can bring you whatever you need. Oh, I'm sure you can bring me whatever I need. You know, like medicine for sale. Alright. So, I'm glad in Hawaii they still feel Puerto Rican, you know. But we do all respect this, you know. Oh, so Corey kind of way, you know. Because to be a real Puerto Rican, you need to live the Puerto Rican experience. You have to be raised in Puerto Rico. That's what I'm talking about. Come on. What do you have to say about that, Josefina? Huh? And you put your love. Thank you. Well, we in New York haven't had the same conditions to do the usual right with Puerto Ricans and La Isla. What we have done the best we can to defend the Puerto Ricans. Yes. We've done many things. We send our children to Puerto Rico to the schools so that they can learn the language. By being here, we have the chance to interact with our friends from Latin. We're always similar. Yet we're all on the same boat, and that's not where brothers and sisters. And together, we created a rash of our own countries right here in El Barrio. Rafael Hernandez composed Lamento Oriental. That's right. And a great jazz musician Juan Pisol composed Caravan. We don't wear on Jose Louisiana began the illustrious careers right here in El Barrio. And not to talk about the music that took on the world, that salsa with the lights, La Farma All Stars, and Nelly Palmier and Hector Lavoe. I need to find the salsa for, let me see. Wait a second. I know that La Salsa is Puerto Rican, I know that. But you telling me that Lamento Oriental is also Puerto Rican? Come on, man, come on. What? Can't find the salsa for? Let me help you out. Okay. Our music is very everywhere. Everywhere, all the time. And no one will. There is one exception. It was this little 9-year-old kid who was always always banging on everything he could get his hands on. Nothing could stop him. Nothing. Not even the flies around the trash cans. In fact, I believe those flies helped me shape his performance style. Yes? Oh, I found La Salsa. The original one. Yeah, it's right here. La Salsa. Yeah. when they fought and they won. And 2 months later, she went into the first desegregated school in California in 1948. Yes, that was 10 years before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat in an Alabama class. So she knew what she was doing. She was brave. She was paving the path to the American Civil Rights Movement. And for that, she received the Congressional Freedom Medal. Give it up for Sylvia Mendes. And there's so many older women that have made so many contributions that it would be impossible to name them all. Then you have a machine. You like that idea? You like that idea? Then welcome to the Museum of the Puerto Rican Woman. There you go. This is the Museum of the Puerto Rican Woman with beautiful dance style. Pura Benítez, writer, puppeteer, the first Puerto Rican librarian in New York City. Miriam Colón, the great actress and founder of the Puerto Rican Company Theater. Julia Burgos, the most important Puerto Rican poet, activist, and nacionalista. Ana Roquette, who trained educator, writer, scientist, and suffragist. Antonia Pedro, first Hispanic woman U.S. surgeon. Here we go with Helen Rodriguez Diaz, physician, first Hispanic president of the American College of Education and recipient of the Presidential Citizens Medal. Genoveva León, the first Puerto Rican astronaut. Give it up for Evelina Antonetti, civil rights activist and union leader. Here comes Sonia Sotomayor, the first Puerto Rican and Hispanic woman in the Supreme Court. And here we go with Lolita Lebron, the revolutionary leader, heroine, Lolita Lebron. This is the Museum of the Puerto Rican Woman. And together they presentes y boricuas. Give them an applause, please. Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, directo. I mean, now I know why they call this Agua Maravilla. I just had a drink and it sent me directly to a museum tour, the Cachete. You know, free and everything. Oh my God, oh my God. Huh. Okay, I think it's time to go. It's time to go. I'm just sorry that I didn't do anything for my mom. Let me say goodbye properly to Christina. I don't know how to say this. I just, no worries, man, no worries. If you're here, it means that you're respect. But I overheard you saying that you can find something for you in your mom. Estaba bajo tus narices. You like to defend Puerto Rico. This should belong to you. Right here. This is my grandpa's and his utmost pleasure. He gave his food to everyone. And to realize first who he was. When his great man died in exile, arrangements were made so that his remains will come to New York City before they went to Puerto Rico, and they were placed in the city hall, so that the Latin American community could honor the man who handled our spirit of struggle. El padre de la patria, Ramón Emeterio Betances, presente y boricua. That means that Betances was here before and after his Josefina, means that New York was a sanctuary for many people. When there was political persecution in Latvia, we were here with our boys. When this economic situation was unsustainable, we were also here with our open arms. Since the first protest of 1898 at that time, to the last protest in 2016, the protest alone to help Puerto Rico get out of the debt, but has only done the opposite. We have been in. We have also been recognized. When we went to help our people in Puerto Rico to get the U.S. Marine out of U.S., we were there. You see, all those after Hurricane Maria devastated the island, we were here collecting relief aid in boxes just like this one, with messages just like this one. I like it very well. There were tons of boxes with English, with messages just like this one. Como el pueblo sabe del poder. There was word of relief aid, yes, but mainly they were full of love. And I don't think that we have. Yo quería evitar a última cena de la cuna. Sisto Casiano, you have been so special to me. Imagine to you one time ago, your parents came to see me and stay in this area about the business. You were conceived here. What? Will you read it? Yeah, in a way, you are teeth. Right after that, your parents broke up. But that made it wrong. That's all. They were at home. Your mom and I read this birthday was fast. And that's why you were before you started. But I was thinking not so long ago. Look at us. Not the time. It contains a very special secret, my secret, and we think it's secret. Cross number 9. Nine. Oh, 9. Oh no! No! Oh, Josefina was a pervert! Oh! Wait, you just said her eye. I'm sorry, Josefina. I must apologize. So sorry. Yeah, we didn't really expect you to do that. The day of this building is going to be the revelation of deep ways in new the thing that happens is the beginning. Ours is organized. I can have a wish, a last wish, that you will take the copies of this box for your life. With my ashes, so that he achieved his purpose and would become what he for many people. I know also beautiful life. Existe. So I know what I have to take back. Remains and the dances and because you cannot talk about the history of Puerto Rico without talking about the history of Puerto Ricans. And that's why it's so important to tell your side of the world. Yes, I love to see you. There's so much we need to talk about. Yes, possible. Quiero contar de quienes cruzaron los mares, los que vinieron en contra de las dificultades, aquellos que vinieron sin un peso en el bolsillo a trabajar, sin abrigo y sin un sol. Llegaron al firmamento de cemento sin primavera, tabacaneros porteros, también las costureras, el jíbaro sin arado, el escritor exiliado, hace historias, historias que hay que contar. Un Jesús no, que luchó con nosotros, un Clemente Soto, Pantoma y muchos otros son harina de otro costal. Desde la campiña, desde Silla hasta la esquina, estos son los rostros, estos son los grandes logros. Son historias que hay que contar. ¡Hey! Al pasar el tiempo vinieron nuevos brevemente, estamos todos, yo sé que está el jueves, pero yo tengo que decir que para mí es un honor enorme estar aquí en esta actividad tan importante. Cuando yo vine aquí a hacer esto en Puerto Rico y conocí a la gente que trabaja aquí, que veía un trabajo me inspiré para escribir una pieza como y gracias por el abrazo a los músicos y al artista, pero yo quiero marcar bien fuerte a su partido con todo el corazón, porque este trabajo es tan enorme, el trabajo que se hace aquí es tan enorme que no sabe de contar de los derechos que necesitan del trabajo. Hablamos de nuestros héroes, aquí tenemos uno, por favor, el aplauso más fuerte de la noche para José Luis. Por favor. Yo creo que esta fue la mejor forma de celebrar nuestros 50 años. Así es que para nosotros ha sido una maravilla. Quiero reconocer la presencia de algunas personas, pero primero al alcalde de Aguadilla, Julio Roldán Concepción, que nos acaba de llegar ahorita y que va a compartir con nosotros todo este fin de semana y nos trajo lo mejor de Aguadilla. Así que para nosotros esto es un momento bien importante, porque aquí se está uniendo la comunidad puertorriqueña de la diáspora con Puerto Rico. Hace como mes y medio que el Museo Nacional, National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture, took a group of us to Puerto Rico to really profoundly know Puerto Rico. And what the museum has done is to make this amazing connection between Puerto Rico cultural production and the cultural production of Chicago, Puerto Rico. And what I think is important for us to realize is that Angel's presence here speaks to many years of our work trying to make sure que nosotros los boricuas de aquí y los boricuas de allá somos una sola parte. Cuando los Young Doors comenzaron, su lema fue: tengo a Puerto Rico en mi corazón, porque ellos desconocían como esta obra representa antes, nos hace visible nuestra historia. Para ellos la única forma de afirmar su puertorriqueñidad era decir: tengo a Puerto Rico en mi corazón. Pero fue también porque nosotros rescatamos esa bandera del anonimato y de la ilegalidad. Bueno, vimos a casi todos, algunos de ustedes hacen esa bandera porque son los boricuas en los Estados Unidos que sacan a esa bandera. En Puerto Rico, en los 50, en los 60, inclusive en los 70, quizás hasta los 80, nadie se atrevía a izar esa bandera solo. Nosotros lo hicimos en Chicago, en Nueva York, en Filadelfia, en toda la diáspora, y la convertimos en un símbolo popular que obviamente en ese último tremendo logro de la juventud del pueblo puertorriqueño de derrotar el gobierno corrupto
Ricky Rosselló, la única bandera que ondeaba era la monestrella, con 1 millón de personas cargando y izando esa bandera. Así que nosotros tenemos el orgullo de reclamar como de los puertorriqueños fuimos los que rescatamos esa bandera del anonimato y de la ilegalidad y la transformamos en un símbolo popular del pueblo puertorriqueño. Así, muchísimas gracias a todos y comenzamos este fin de semana con una gran celebración, la fiesta boricua número 30. Nuestros congresistas se tienen se disculpó, pero quiero decirte que en el 1993 aquí se llevó a cabo una lucha para erigir la estatua de Pedro Albizu Campos en el Parque Home y se nos negó. Pidió caso como el concejal de este barrio, de este distrito, llevó a cabo una lucha con nosotros y forzamos al alcalde de Chicago que tuviera que conceder lo que hoy en día es las 2 banderas más grandes del mundo hechos en acero y que el año pasado fueron proclamados por la ciudad de Chicago como monumento histórico. Así es que en todo esto es importante recalcar que el 12 de septiembre del 1993 celebramos la primera fiesta boricua en la esquina de la California y la Division en el mismo Humboldt Park, y mañana 30 años después, que lo siento que Paul se haya ido, pero mañana a las 10 de la mañana celebramos la apertura de esas residencias que llevan el nombre del doctor Pedro Albizu Campos, donde van a vivir 60 familias de bajo ingreso y que estamos repoblando esta comunidad con puertorriqueños como lo vamos a hacer con Puerto Rico. Muchísimas gracias.